So today I got a little controversial video. I want to rank every character based on how well designed they are. How this game's design really interests me, especially on characters. And it's something I've been looking at a lot, and I really just think I would like to see more of it. So I thought I'd go ahead and give my design, or my ideas about this, and I don't know, I'll let you guys complain me in the comments. Because the more and more I play this this game, the more and more I realize, wow, I hate like every character. So I thought I'd just give my honest thoughts on how well designed I think every character is. So we have to start with the obvious mains, right? Being Sephiroth, Joker, and Zelda. My three characters. I feel like I have to start with them. So I feel like I should go through my criteria before I start this. So first off, my criteria is how well do they achieve said design that the developers intentionally put in place for them, right? Character like Jigglypuff, how well is she in the air? She's meant to be good in the air, bad in the ground. There's also a lot of opinion that's going to go into this, like how fun I think the character is, how fun the character is to fight. My criteria for this list, I don't think it's too hard to understand. And unironically, every time I make a video like this, my criteria always changes like 100 times. So bear with me, alright? This isn't a definitive, actually, no, it's definitive list. This is completely 100% right, the correct opinion. And yeah, no, complain about it in the comments. Okay, so my mains. I think Sephiroth is one or two changes from being perfect. The problem with Sephiroth is, I think what they were going for is, they obviously wanted him to be a really good character. He has some really good moves, but then like you're in his face at all and there's like nothing he can do. I think literally all they need to do is just give him a good jab so he has a good get off me tool, or maybe just make Nair hit grounded opponents or something. Just give him a good panic button or something to get people off of him, because don't get me wrong, Nair kinda does that. It's very easy just to not get hit by Nair. Like, okay, Sephiroth's sitting in shield, you hit his shield, what is he gonna do? Nair. Like, yeah. I really just think Sephiroth, all he needs is that panic button. I think he is a very well designed character. Outside of Wing. Wing's a little obnoxious. Maybe tune down Wing a little bit. But like, yeah, no. I think Sephiroth's just that one little change away from being like the perfect character I want him to be. Now, Joker being my favorite character, I'm really biased towards wanting a redesign for him because I'm not too big of a fan of how he plays. Because I'd really like him to play more canonical to how he does in Persona 5, because I think that's fucking awesome how he plays in Persona 5, especially in like the anime and stuff. But like in this, I'm not too big of a fan how he uses Arsene as basically like sort of a, I don't know, bodyguard, I guess. Because basically in the games, Arsene is your how you attack, right? Like, sure, you have other attacks, like you can run up and just do a normal physical attack. That's kind of weak and kind of bad, unless they're weak to physical. You also have the gun, which is, I think, works well here. But, like, I don't know, I'm just trying to fan out how Arsene works. I don't know how else they could pull it off, really, without, you know, kind of breaking his, like, character archetype, because he's meant to be a very fast, speedy character. But I don't think he needs something as absurd as Arsene, because base Joker's already really good. He'd be a solid high tier without Arsene. But Arsene really does push him into that top tier elevation whenever you combine it with all his attributes. I'd also really like him to use his wild card more, like rather than just using Arsene, pull out multiple personas. Again, I think that'd make a fucking sick design, and I'd like him even more than I already do. But for what we got, I think Joker's good, but I'm gonna personally put him in redesign, because I would just like to see him use anything more. Yeah, I feel like this is just, you know, a good trade-off. And then finally, my last main, Zelda, my zoner, if you will. And like, for what they achieved in this game with her, I think she's well designed. Now, I think judging whether you're high, top, low tier doesn't really mean you're well designed or not. Like, as I said, for what they for what they did with Zelda, I think it works well, unironically. I'm kind of a fan. Why do you think I play her? A trap character that utilizes Phantom, which is basically her entire design, with a moveset, but once again can utilize it into ways with Phantom. It's basically like you're playing a double character, kind of like Rosalina and Luma, but instead of controlling Luma, you're controlling a linear Phantom. I like the idea. I like the design. I like what they accomplish. Alright, now let's get into my hot takes. Min Min, no. Awful, awful design. Should have never been in Smash. The idea does not work, and it quite literally is game breaking. It makes no sense. This character is absurd for a reason. Once again, the balancing factor on these like massive disjoint characters is always like some form of you can either hit the disjoints or you gotta space them properly. Min Min absolutely does not have that problem. She kills. They're all disjoints. She does not have to play the game. Her only weakness is the fact that she's slow, which really doesn't matter too much whenever she has everything going on in her kit. And for some reason you can't even like try and zone her back because they gave her a reflector. Like, I really hate what they did with Min Min's game. I think this design is awful. Samus, my least favorite character in this entire game. No, that they did not do her at all. Her entire game plan is obviously that she's a zoner, right? But I don't know why they did this to her if she's a zoner. Her back air is stronger than Wolf's. Screw attack, I think it's frame 6 out of shield? Frame 5? It's a fast ass out of shield option. What? And then that's not even mentioning how good they made Charge Shot in this game. I think I like the idea of centering around her whole game plan around Charge Shot, because obviously that's the best move in her kit, uncontested. But like, why did they give it so much movement? Like, Samus can play so tricky with it. And like, you just kind of have to respect it. Not to mention, Charge Shot does absolutely everything for this character. I like what they were going for with her, but I really don't think they achieved it in the slightest. And that hasn't even mentioned the fact of things like Bomb, which just is not okay move. If you're at ledge for any reason against Samus, you're probably going to die. That or you're going to eat a Charge Shot unless they mess up. Samus is not an okay design. I would completely be fine if A, she was removed, or B, redesigned. People might not agree with me on this one, but I think Roy's pretty well designed. After Smash 4, where he was an awful character and like his design just did not work in the slightest, Smash Ultimate just feels like the perfect iteration of it. Because what they wanted him to be is a very fast, in-your-face, rushdown character with a sword. And they very much achieved that. This character is just very well designed in my opinion. Yeah, he could be a bit annoying to fight, and I think the only real issue I can say with him is maybe tone down his power a little bit on some of his moves. Like, there's no reason side B should kill right there, or jab back air is that oppressive, you know what I mean? But like, other than that, I really like what they did with Roy in this game. So, okay, let's start with the one I know the most about. That's Corrin, the one I played the most. I think Corrin needs a bit of tweaking, and like, I don't know, I'm not too big of a fan of how she plays, or I'm not too big of a fan of how they made her play in this game. In the transition from Smash 4 to Ultimate, she went from being Pin the character to a more well-balanced Swordy, and I kind of like the idea, but at the same time that made her a lot less unique among the other Fire Emblem characters. And also, the fact that they nerfed, like, anything that made her unique really hurt her. Don't get me wrong, she's still different from the other Fire Emblem characters and fun to play. But, like, I'd really like if there's more power in her neutral B, side B. There's just more emphasis on, you know, the dragon parts of her, rather than just nair, fair, up air, you know? Because that's what she does a lot. She mixes between nairing your shield and grabbing your shield. Kind of like Ike. And I guess while we're on the topic of Ike, I'll do Ike. I think he's fine. I don't like a few things they've done to him. Like, for some reason, they've really buffed his dash attack and up B. Like, I think up B should be a strong move, because that's like his unique things. Great Ether. Or, sorry, Ether. Great Ether's his final smash. And, you know, that's like his signature move in Fire Emblem. But, like, for some reason, they really buffed his dash attack to be strong, which doesn't really make sense. Like, I understand they're trying to make the character better without breaking his core design. But, like, it just looks Looney Tunes-esque how fucking strong it is. I've been caught off guard, like, every time I played Ike. I've at least lost one stock to dash attack when it doesn't feel like I have. I'll get dash attack to, like, 80 and just explode for, like, no reason. And I won't get it, because why did that kill me? But other than that, I do like how Ike designs. He's definitely meant to be a big, simple Swordy. And, like, I'm fine with that design. I like playing that said character. Lucina's fine. There's not too much to say about her. She's just a simple Swordy. That's it. She has very little schmicks, or not schmicks. She has very little like interesting things to do in neutral. Like, okay, you keep shielding her swords. What's she gonna do? She'll break you, and like, that's about the most iteration you'll get from her. I think she's a kind of boring character, but like, I don't think she's bad designed. I think how they have her is just perfectly fine. She's meant to be the bland, simple swordy, and they accomplish that with her. Chrom, I really like the idea and design behind him, but all they need to do is just change his up B so the second he's off stage, he isn't dead. That's it. I understand what they're going for this character. They want him to be a high risk, high reward character, right? This character can utterly explode your stocks with almost 0 to no risk, but he gets put off stage once and dies. I really wish it was more balanced out, because once again, I like this design. I'd be completely down to play this character, or like play them for fun, because they are fun to play, just to run at people and get to mindlessly mash, but without worrying about sweet spots or whatever. But once again, I really just think they need to give his up B. I don't think they need to like completely change the move. I just think they need to give it something, you know what I mean? Like a rising hip makes it literally just similar to Ike's. Make it a rising hitbox rather than just Chrom himself with no hitbox, so you can just easily punish and kill him for free. I really think that's all they need to change on him, and I think he's like a perfect character. Byleth, my second most played Fire Emblem character, I think he's a well-designed character. I really like what they did with him, and the more and more I see this character, the more I'm like, damn, I like... Now, I personally don't play him too much, because, I mean, I have Sephiroth, and every time I play Sephiroth, or sorry, every time I play Byleth, I always fuck up spacings, because I'm doing Sephiroth spacing, so, like, I don't play his character too much. But I do like the idea. That my only complaint with this character is the fact that Nair's a little over-centralizing. That's about it. Other than that, I really like him. Once again, he's very slow, but he has the range and power to make up for that. And it makes for this very interesting dynamic where it's just like, against some characters, you just explode. But on paper, it's just like, yeah, I destroy him. You know? Like, he feels like a heavyweight, but without, like, the limitations of being a heavyweight. It's a really cool idea. I like it. Oh, another thing I didn't think of is bow neutral B. I'd like that to be just better. Or usable, like lower power for higher speed. I'd be completely fine with that. Fuck, even get rid of the fully charged version. I don't care. Just make bow like kinda usable. Because like for any competent opponent, they miss attack and they see you charging bow, they're just gonna sit there and punish you for using bow, because bow's an awful move. The only time you're ever gonna use it is like cancel in the air to like scare your opponent or whatever. But like, yeah, no. Overall, final thoughts on Byleth. I like the design. I like what they went for, and I like what they accomplished. I really like Robin. I like the idea behind Robin. Tactician, I'm not too big of a fan of the design of him, or I mean like character design. But like in Smash, he had a really cool idea being a swordy centered around like actual projectile zoner with a sword, aerial smash attacks. Like I like the idea, but I don't think they accomplished it. Putting everything he has on resource management just doesn't really work that well. I do like that though, you can pick up the items and use them in your combos, and there are Robin players and Robin combos that actually just use those moves. But like at the same time, why? Once again, I'd really like if he was a more well-rounded character rather than being this really polarizing character that only sometimes gets to play the game. That's why I'm mentioning the fact that they made him super slow. So there's a lot of just combos and like routes he doesn't get to do simply because he's not fast enough to act on said routes. K. Rool, my boy, I really like your design. The only thing I can possibly say I don't like about your idea is side B just looks not right whenever you like armor through things with it. Like I understand why they gave it armor, and it makes sense, but like it just doesn't look right at all. Just watching him throw the crown, you hit him, and he's just sitting there in an animation, armoring through everything for some reason. I don't know, it's just, maybe that's a reference to Donkey Kong Country if you like squint hard enough, but like I'm not personally too big of a fan of that. But I'll say that I really like just this zoner ass heavyweight fucking tank that they made. K. Rool is absolutely one of the most fun characters to play, and calling him well designed is like, I don't know, honorary. Like, I love this character, and I think a lot of people agree. He's one of the most fun characters to play and one of the most fun characters to watch. Obviously, I think Little Mac just doesn't work as a concept, period. Like, a character exclusively tied to the ground just doesn't work in this game. I know we're starting to see, like, quote-unquote results because of Peanut with this character, but that doesn't mean this character still just fundamentally doesn't work. Then again, I don't think there's any way to really make him work unless you really want to stretch him out and like really look for references about him, because there are references in Punch-Out Wii that he could use, like I don't know, give him like Bald Bull's Rush or something, I don't know, or like I don't know. There's a lot of stuff you could pull from that game that help him out, but I just don't think the idea of a grounded only fighter really works. Even the other FGCs that should be like ground only fighters still once again don't come up with that problem. Kazuya has insane aerials. Ken and Ryu can both kill you in the air because they can combo the Shoryuken in the air. Like, yeah, no, just low max design just doesn't work. We can all agree on this. People won't agree with me on this one, but I think Kirby could do with a redesign. I understand they want him to be a simple jack of all traits, very simple. Well, I mean, come on, he's simple as fuck. I've said it twice for a reason. But no, I just don't like the idea. I really wish they just gave him a moveset centered around all his like most popular fucking copy abilities, rather than trying to make him this boring ass fucking kick you, do some weak ass kicks and punches, very slow in the air. Like, the only reference he gets to copy abilities is A, hammer, and B, final cutter, and his final smash doesn't even count because we don't use those. So I don't know, I just really like a better looking Kirby. Like, make him more interesting, give him like the wizard's hat, give him the sword for a move, I don't know, like just make him interesting. Kirby could have probably one of the most complex movesets in the entire game if he wanted him to, or one of the most simple. And I mean, I guess if you want to look at it like that, he succeeded, but I personally would love to see a more interesting Kirby design. Young Link, I think he's a failure design. A zoner character that has the frame data of Sheik. No, that's not how you design a character. Shut the fuck up. They also, for some reason, thought it'd be a good idea to give him full screen laser beams that combo at any percent. Like, I don't agree. I think they should make him designed around actual Ocarina of Time, using like the masks and stuff, rather than having him whatever the fuck they thought they were doing with this character. I think this character is very polarizing because I did do some research and looked at what other people's thoughts on these characters were, and a lot of people put Young Link pretty high. I'm gonna put him pretty low. Or, well, I guess I also see people put him low. Once again, this was a polarizing pick, as I said. A lot of people put him in different places. In my opinion, he's not very well designed. This one might be a bit of a hot take, but I think Pac-Man isn't an awful design. He's a zoner that has Mario frame data, which is different from Sheik frame data, may I say. But I don't think it's as egregious here, because Young Link has full screen projectiles that cover like everything that also combo. Pac-Man has he is a zoner, but more of a different type of zoner. Like, he'll set up his wall and then he'll pull out his big bag of tricks, aka neutral beat, which is an interesting idea, though I think he should be given more power in his zoning rather than his physical capabilities, because why does he have moves like fair, nair, dare, like, and not to mention his absurdly good grab. Like, there's no spot dodging that. There's no getting away from that. If he grabs, you're probably getting grabbed. Like, there's no reason Pac-Man should have moves like this while being a character like that. But other than that, I'm not too against Pac-Man's idea. I've come around on this character a little bit. If you would have filmed this, or if I would have made this video a few months ago, he definitely would have been a no tier. Luigi, obviously, I think just doesn't work as a design. Or, let me rephrase that. I'm not a fan of his design. I like what they accomplished with him. They wanted him to be a goofy-ass grappler, and he kind of is. But the problem is, his playstyle is so over-fucking polarizing that one person on the field isn't having fun. Kazuya, I feel like, also falls into this camp, where one player on the screen is just not having fun at one point. That's not even mentioning their invulnerability moves, like down B and his entire kit. It just doesn't work, and I don't like it. I'm not a fan of invulnerability in this game because it feels so fucking annoying. And then Kazuya has it on his entire kit, and then Luigi's just gonna spam it the whole game with a strong ass move as down B. Like, I'm not a fan of it. Though I do think Luigi could very much be a fun character. I think in Smash 4 he was a really goofy, funny character, but in this game, no. Once again, there was a difference. In Smash 4, if Luigi grabbed you, you could die. But in this game, if you get grabbed, you will die. There is a very distinct difference. And if Kazuya hits you for any reason, you are dead. There's no, like, complaining. She's like, electric, oh, game. Like, yeah, no, you're basically playing against, like, an AI. Like, this character just, I'm not a fan of Kazuya in the slightest. Very much contending, or Samus for my least favorite character, period. Okay, I want to go back to being positive, because there's a lot of characters in the game I do like. Like, I think Mewtwo's well designed. Everyone and their fucking mother complains about the stupid tail, but I think it makes sense that the stupid tail is a hitbox. It is part of him. Like, I'm surprised in Smash 4 they made it not a hitbox. But, like, no, I think it makes sense. But other than, like, that, the tail, all that, I think he's a well-designed character. Even with a charge shot, and I despise charge shots. I think they're awful designed. But I think Mewtwo makes very well use of it. Because rather than using it as your entire game plan, Mewtwo more or less uses it into his game plan, which I think is a lot more interesting. Because once again, Mewtwo takes a trade-off of strong, powerful charge shot for a faster, a little weaker, but more combo and citrate charge shot, which is a lot more interesting than, you know, Samus spamming charge shot on the other side of the stage, praying you get hit. You know what I mean? So I'm a fan of how Mewtwo plays. I think he's just an overall just well-made character. Again, he also has a lot of cool things with, like, his down B, his side B. I think his up B's even cool. Though, another thing I don't like about him, though, is his back air. I think it's a little, I don't know, lazy looking for how strong of a move that is. Because that's a fucking kill move, dude. But, like, I don't, it just looks so lazy and boring. Why can't you just give him, like, a very strong, like, tail slap backwards? I don't know. But other than that, I think he's a very well-designed character. I'm a big fan of Mewtwo. I think Inkling's almost a very well-designed character as well. Like, I just feel like there's a few things. Like, burying is something I don't like in this game, and I think would be perfectly fine if we just removed it altogether. So, having, like, a move that's very much centralized around it, like, roller, obviously, side B. Yeah, no, I'm not too big of a fan of. But, like, I think it's fine because it gives her other, like, techniques and usage. And, like, obviously that's not your entire game plan, it's more of, like, a cheese option. But I also think there's other weird things with her game plan, like her back air, even though it's a very fast and disjointed, it's a pretty good move. It just feels so abysmally weak. Like, it doesn't feel good to hit your opponent with, unironically. Though I know it's meant to be a fast combo move, because, you know, that's what Inkling is, but, like, I'm not too big of a fan of the move. And, like, I don't know, this character feels weak overall. I don't know, it's a weird feeling playing Inkling. I don't know how to describe it, but, like, I'm not too big of a fan of it. And I think Splat Bomb's also kind of weird. Like, sometimes the move just doesn't work. Maybe I'm not too familiar with it, but, like, I'm not that big of a fan of how they designed Inkling in this game. Having your entire character centered around inking someone to do more damage, I'm not too big of a fan. I almost never do it when playing Inkling unless I get it off, like, jab or something. I'm mainly just throwing hands, like, I don't know. I really think they should move Inkling away from, like, the ink mechanic and put power into her kit. But, like, that's just me. And, like, I understand why they put, you know, her whole thing around ink. Because, well, she's from Splatoon. It makes sense. But I'm not too big of a fan of the design philosophy with that. This one's going to get a lot of flack. But I think Belmonts make a lot of sense. If we look at their home game, like, purely, yeah, no, that makes sense. Like, obviously, if you put these characters in the game, they're going to be toxic. Their literal entire thing is throwing projectiles. So, yeah, they're going to be a projectile spammy bitch. But, like, I think they use it very well. The only thing I could possibly say is that sometimes they feel awful to play when you're off stage. But, like, that's obviously a design philosophy with the character. But, like, other than that, I like Belmonts. I like what they did with them. I really wish they would, like, separate Simon and Richter a little bit more. Make you, like, give you a reason to use one over the other rather than just having them basically just be palette swaps. But, I'm fine with it. I want to talk about this one, Meta Knight. I'm not too fan of how he plays. I think Meta Knight should be a jack-of-all-trades sortie that basically can do anything and should be a top-tier character. But in this game, I don't like at all what they did. They basically made him an all-arounder, but made him good at nothing. And then, rather than, you know, making him a good, you know, character that could use, like, all his specials and all that, instead, they just made him this weird, awkward dash attack character that focuses on laddering and cheesing you to death. Not a fan. like as I said, I wish there was more emphasis on Meta Knight's sword skills, or like maybe the fact that he's a very aerial based character, or not that. No. We don't need better ladder combos. I don't know how to say what I'm trying to think. Fuck. Just make him less cheesy. That's all I want. just make the dude less cheesy. Because they definitely didn't intend on this character to be like this, being a very ladder-heavy character that just up air. They wanted him to be a jack-of-all-trades character that can do everything, but they just failed. And I think, honestly, they should just try again with Meta Knight and recuperate what he does. Look at the Meta Knight series. Not the Meta Knight series, the Kirby series, and, like, try again. I think Lucario's also a design failure. His whole gimmick is based around beat him up and then he beats you up, but, like, it doesn't really make sense in this game because every character is just going to kill you at like 70%, so he basically never gets to use his unique gimmick. Though I will say, it is quite annoying fighting this character. Even though I think he's bad, he's still quite annoying to fight. For the same reasons I'm not a fan of Arsene, I am not a fan of Aura. But Aura's just way more obnoxious Arsene because you can't stall it. It's either kill or be killed, and Lucario definitely chooses kill over be killed. I feel like Lucario is just a Pokemon that if we're cutting characters, I feel like Lucario is like one of the first Pokemon you can throw out. Maybe even one of the first characters you can throw out. Because, like, yeah, he's popular, but like, in Smash, not in the slightest. I run into Lucario like once a year, dude, like... Nah, we don't need him. I think Sheik's a well-designed character. I don't want to say it, but I think she is. I hate fighting her, but, like, I think she's well-designed. I like what they did with her rather than Smash 4 having her be a mash machine. In this game, she's kind of that, but, like, there's at least some skill to it. Because, yeah, you can press all the buttons you want on your opponent, but, like, you're not going to put too much damage on unless you know those combos. Which really does allow for a lot of player expression, which is something I love on characters. And, like, Sheik's one of the characters that gives you the absolute most of, like, any character in the game. But, like, God, she could be very polarizing to play against, 'cause I think needles are very over-centralizing. Like, I think, I don't know, tuning down needles to an extent would be really good for her. But, like, I don't really think that takes away from the fact that I think she's a well-designed character. I think if Needles, Needles is the only thing I'm playing about with her. And also, I think her double jump's a little annoying. Or not her double jump, her up B. But, like, other than that, I think Sheik's a well-designed character. I am a fan of this character, watching this character, specifically. Not playing, watching. Yeah, I'm just gonna put all the Miis in no. I'm just looking at them, it's just like, none of them accomplish anything they want. This is shitty Samus, or, sorry, even more annoying Samus, which is hard to accomplish. Though, she's bad, so. This is just a Nair machine that's going to grab you and up B you, and it's just not a fun time to play against. And then, I don't even know what the fuck they wanted to do with me, Swordy. For some reason, he's like a zoner Swordy. Like, I guess they were taking inspiration from Link, but like, not a fan, dude, not a fan. God, okay, this one will also catch a lot of flack, but I think Steve is a fine idea. Because a lot of people wanted him to do more than what he was, but like, if you look at Steve, he's a perfect representation of Minecraft. Though I think there's a lot of over-centralizing things on his kit. Like, I think Diamond is completely and utterly absurd. He does not need that thing to be that strong. Oh my god. That is not okay. And then you have moves like Up Tilt, which is also just not okay in the slightest. Minecart, which is also not okay in the slightest. Like, he needs a lot of tweaking. Actually, if there was he's at the very bottom of this tier. Listen to me right now. Steve is character that needs a lot of tuning, but I think the core idea of him is perfect. Unironically, I'm one of the few people who look at Steve and like, I see it, you know what I mean? Like, I know what they were going for, and I think they accomplished it. They wanted a character that was very free and open, just like Minecraft, while also staying within the restrictions of Minecraft, which, once again, I think they did beautifully. But the problem is that in that beauty, there's some lot of fucked up shit. Oh my god. Up tilt, side B, jab to an extent, diamond, minecart, like, no. just, he needs some tuning, but I like what they were going for. Yeah, no, I think Captain Falcon's also just kind of a failure of a character. I think Smash 4 was a really good representation for him, because he was basically a 50-50. He was either grabbing you or he was dash attacking you. In this game, he does it, but much worse. Not to mention, they put a lot of emphasis on his special moves in this game, which doesn't really make sense. He should be a very punch-kicky-esque character, not like using his flames and shit. Once again, I don't really like that. Not to mention, there's just weird restriction on him, like his turnaround animation. And like, for some reason, they made side B just one of the best moves like ever. Like, why is it so armored? And why the fuck does it combo forever now? Like, I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. And then there's moves like up B as well that just don't work. Like, or it shouldn't work like that. Like, why is that move so insane? And why does he get so much drift off it? Like, there is no penalty for just up being in neutral. Like, Captain Falcon is an insane design, but like, they've did it so much better in the past. I think this is easily his worst implementation in a game, period. Maybe outside of Brawl, which even then is, I don't know. For what they're going for with DDD, I think they accomplished it well. They wanted him to be a very trap-oriented character centered around Gordo. And that's literally exactly what he is. I like it. I really do like what they did with him. There's not too much to be said about him. Except the fact that he's going to put you a ledge and you're going to get trapped. That's about it. I like the idea, I like the design, and I like the execution. Good job. Oh yeah, I can't believe I didn't see his character earlier. Sonic redesign, I don't think we have to talk about it. He has two moves that visually just look the exact fucking same, even though they function kinda a little bit differently. But like, just give him something, man. Just give him something cool. Sonic's a cool ass character with a lot of history to pull from, and this is how you designed him. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. So I feel like the only issue with Pikachu is the fact that he pancakes so much. Other than that, I think he's a pretty well-designed character. I think T-Jolt's a little not okay, and Quick Attack's a little not okay. But outside of those moves, I'm not that disagreeing with Pikachu's moveset. And I kind of like how some of it functions, because there's a lot of player expression in this character. And I think that's something I want more characters to have in this game. The more and more I, play it. But no, I think Pikachu offers a lot of that, and he has a lot of just a really advanced stuff that not a lot of people's going to see or will even get the chance to use, because it's just hard. Like, listen, I think Pikachu is an absurd character, and I've been hating on him for years simply because he's, my character's worst matchup, or he was, I guess. But like, in all honesty, like being real for a second, I don't think Pikachu's a bad design at all, and I kind of like it. So the problem that Pichu isn't like a good character is the fact that I think the metagame really punishes him. But if we really look at his design, I like it. Unironically, I like the idea, I like the execution, and I'm a fan of Pichu, I won't lie. Once again, I like the idea of Pichu because he is the glass cannon to end all glass cannons. He has combos for fucking days. This character can do anything he wants. But he's held back by the simple fact that sometimes he's just going to fucking explode. I like that. I'm not too big of a fan of the whole self-damaging mechanic, and I understand like the gimmick behind it, but I'm not that big of a fan of it. I really think they should just ditch that idea and just make him this really fun, explosive character. Like, unironically, I think that's what's holding him back. I'm putting him at the top of this list because, like, I just think get rid of self-damage. That's it, and I think this character's like perfect. Bayonetta, however, I think is very well designed. A similar-ish character to Pichu. I think Bayonetta is a very well designed character. Because in Smash 4, she was absurd. There's no balancing that. But in this game, she's this really weird combination of, like, okay, she combos you to 60, and then she's looking for a kill. I think it's an interesting and unique game plan that not many other characters in the game will perform. Normally, if they're putting you to 60 in one combo, they're probably going to kill you off it, like Steve, Peach, Rob. Bayonetta, however, she will get that 0 to 60, sometimes even more if you let her get more. And she's not unfun to fight, which is very weird to say because, once again, in Smash 4, that was absolutely not the case at all. But, I don't know, I'm a little bit of a fan of Bayonetta in this game, I won't lie. I don't mind seeing the character. And I don't even mind playing against them. I don't like playing them, but I don't mind playing against them. I like it. So I got some more just really easy ones out of the way that I can do real quick. Like, I think Pokemon Trainer's fine design. I don't like their emphasis on, like, single moves. Like, a lot of them end up just doing like the same thing. Like, Ivysaur is a Razor Leaf up beef, like fair spamming bitch. And Squirrel ends up just being grab, up air the character sometimes. Charizard is kind of just a up smash spammer, but like, if we're taking the character designs by what they are rather than how people play them, like, you know, I kind of have been, I like what Pokemon Trainer does. They somehow made a triple character work very perfectly, implemented it well. I think sometimes they could be a little bit annoying to fight against, but like, I think they're a very well designed character, unironically, for just the simple fact that they somehow made a 3-character work without any of them being that absurdly broken. I think Wolf's obviously a well designed character. He's meant to do pretty much everything while not really failing at much. I think they did it without it being too absurd. Like, the only real complaint I would have for Wolf is I think up smash is a little stupid, the fact that it sucks in so well. And I think his neutral B, I just think he should do less damage, not really be slower or smaller. I just think he should do less damage. Because if you want to run away and just zone with this character, you absolutely can. And the fact that his gun has a hitbox, unlike Falco and Fox. Yeah, no, I think it really, really helps him. Just be a very obnoxious zoner sometimes. But like, for the most part, Wolf doesn't really do that. And he has a lot of character expression with like side B, down B, fair. Like, the character can just do a surprising amount, and I'm honestly surprised they pulled off a very well balanced character like this without them being absurd. Shulk, man, I like Xenoblade, but I don't like Shulk in Smash. I think having him based around the Monado wheel just makes no sense. It's not completely offbeat how it functions in Xenoblade, but it's not really how it functions. And like, I understand they want the Xenoblade to be like unique and give it something more to do, but like, I don't think this is how you do it. I'd personally be fine if Shulk just got redesigned in some way. Like, obviously he has to be centered around the Monado, but like, I don't think he should be centered around it like this. I'm not a fan of the whole scroll wheel type thing. I think it's a unique design and it's a cool idea, but I don't think it's that cool in practice. I'd really like it if Shulk was just, I don't know, just a different character than this. I'm a fan of like I'm not against everything else he does, but like the neutral B wheel, just, I'm not a fan. That's it. That's the only thing I don't like about this character. Just change that, man. Let's speak positive again. I really like Ridley's design as well. I think he's a fun character. I think he's held back by the fact that he's just not heavyweight. That's literally it. Just change his weight, and then I think he's a good and then he's a fun character. Like, Yuri is a fun character, but like, just give him what he deserves. Give him that higher weight stat. That's it. That's all you need to do to him. Like, it makes no sense as to why some characters are heavier than him. Like, Samus is the obvious one you all know. Should not be heavier than Ridley. Ridley should be a super heavyweight, unironically. Ridley is absolutely scammed in this game. Like, he's a big boy. Let him be a big boy. The pits, I think, are also a really good design. They're very well-rounded, easy character that are meant for newer players. My only issue with them is Garbin Orbitars, or their down B is just a little bit too absurd. Like, I know you don't see too many pit players, but like, when you do, why does down B do that? Like, I don't know. I don't feel like that's an intended purpose of said move. But like, I think it's a little too free. I think just toning that move down would just be perfect. Also, they have a bunch of hitbox issues. Like, their hitboxes do not match those animations at all. If you fix those two simple things, like, this character is well designed.